Up for Lenny Kravitz here. Or is this Dennis Edwards? Wait, no. Stevie Wonder? Lionel Richie. I know, it's Luther Vandross. Lufa. Oh, my love. Who do you think he was talking about? Who do you think Luther Vandross is talking about in this song?
Another man?
I wonder who it was, though. You know, some people can keep a secret. I'm telling you, some people can keep a secret because you've never heard anything about Prince's love life.
No.
You hear everything about Prince's love life.
No, I've never.
I've heard so much.
I've never heard anything about Prince's love. I never heard anything about Michael Jackson's love life.
Are you kidding? So Prince
please.
used to date Apollonia, and so the.
I mean, I heard that, but you don't hear there's got to be other women outside of that.
There are other women, and it's so weird because he used to make all of his women. They had to be in makeup all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They always had to look perfection. I have a friend. Her name is Ashley Tamar, and she was one of his artists.
Ashley Tamar, I think sounds weird.
Yeah, she's a dope singer, and or Tamar. She would go by Tamar, not Braxton.
Yeah.
But and she worked for Prince for years. She was like one of his proteges, and you had to be on point, heels, body, everything, all the time if you were around him.
Yeah, I would require the same. Matter of fact, both of you two, I would like you in full makeup, full uniform, stilettos, red bottoms. No more furry shoes in here for this show.
Well, speaking of Prince, I did hear that the song Little Red Corvette was actually about, so in Vanity 6, there was a girl by the name of Susan. That song was actually about her. And I had heard that he was crazy for the girl Susan in the group. So he wrote a couple songs about her.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear much about Michael Jackson's love interests.
He married
Lisa Marie
daughter.
Presley. I mean, but that's the only one. Are you telling me
He went out with Brooke Shields.
Okay, two.
He loved Liz
Elizabeth
Taylor and Diana Ross.
Out of his whole life? The guy was 50, and there's there's nobody else? There's no side chick coming out saying, I was with Michael. Yeah. Same thing with Prince. You don't hear nobody else side chicks. Come on, man.
Non-disclosures, man.
People don't care about no non-disclosure.
Yes, they do.
They do not.
If you listen to the lyrics of Billie Jean, that's about a woman who claimed that he was baby's father.
Is it? Or is it about some guy named Billy?
No. You know my mom's name is Billie Jean. That's her real name. My mom is Billie Jean.
Is it really?
Mama G, that's about a song about you? Was you putting that thing around? I don't know. No, my mom's name is Billie Jean, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's some people who just can keep, they take the secrets to the grave.
It's important.
You don't really hear too much about, the stories out there.
It's important.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing today, man? We had the Jennifer California last night, which was an amazing show. It's Friday. We finally crawled to this Friday. Oh, my God, I didn't think I was going to make it.
Really? I feel like this week flew by for me.
It's a hard week for me.
Drama.
Very hard week for me.
Drama.
Krista, how are you doing? How are the cats?
I had a rough day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was rough only because there was issues with my car that comes out of the blue. And so I was running around, I was driving, and then that check engine light came on. I was like, oh, why am I dealing with this? I'm trying to get my cat to get neutered. And let me tell you, trying to get a cat to get neutered right now is difficult. There are appointments that are in, January. And it's like, he needs to be neutered right now.
Did you go next door? So Angela's Vista Pet Clinic, that's black-owned, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Here in Leimert Park, Angela's Vista Pet Clinic. The doctor who owns it now, he actually was on the air. He knows Tavis. They're frat brothers.
Oh,
I ran into him yesterday in the parking lot. Yeah. Him and Tavis are frat brothers, yeah.
I'll have to check it
out.
out.
Yeah, they're great. They'll get you in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and once again, black-owned, guys. If you guys are looking for a really good vet, Angela's Vista Pet Clinic. It's right here off of Angela's Vista and Crenshaw. Behind the El Pollo Loco.
Thank you for that tip.
Yeah. Oh, finish your day. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that was it.
Oh.
Yeah, just between car and trying to, so I've been running all over the place.
Yeah. I was up really early this morning. I woke up maybe about, 3:30, which was rough. But then I had to be all the way out in San Dimas. We own a house in San Dimas, and we've got tenants out there. And this tenant, 3 days ago, sent me a picture of this,
Oh, that's Krista trying to start her car. Is this what happened?
He couldn't get it up fast enough while you were still talking. So he had to follow through. So anyway, I had to go out with my tenants. She sent me 3 days ago. You know, tenants are so.
How many
dramatic.
houses do you guys own over there?
This
This freaking Trump, freaking conglomerate that you got going on over there.
Can I rent your house in San Dimas?
I love that. I would really want these people not to be there anymore because they don't pay their rent on time and it's bothersome. But
nobody seems to pay their rent on time with you.
No, I think these are the same people. These are the only people that don't.
Okay,
these are the only people. These are the same people.
With a flat screen on the wall and everything.
No, you know, actually, my Section 8 tenants are actually cool. They pay their rent on time because Section 8. You know, Section 8 don't play that. But yeah, no, this is the one tenant that's not. You know, they're not paying Section 8, and I was like, they pay like after the 15th, and I'm like, yo, you guys, come on. But yeah, she sends me this video of the water gushing out of the faucet, and she's like, "Look what's happening right now. We need the plumber to come out immediately." And I was like,
"Did you just fix the house with the plumbing issue? Or that was another place?"
No, that was my duplex.
Oh, the duplex. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's always something. Old houses. But yeah, and so she sends me this dramatic video, and it's like it looks like something is totally broken, and the water's just gushing out, and I'm like, you need to go turn the water off immediately if it won't stop coming out like that. I'm like, there's something really wrong, and I need to come out there. So you still have to wait till Friday because I can't get out there until Friday morning. And she's like, well, and I'm like, well, listen, if it's this big of a problem, guys, I may just have to condemn the house. Oh, no, it's not that bad. Oh, that's what I thought.
Look at you.
Wow. I like to call people's bluff on the drama. I have to call your bluff.
What was the issue?
Oh, nothing. The sink just the toilet, not the toilet, the tub just was leaking. The water was leaking. Like, so I just needed to come in and
replace it. Turn it off then.
Well, I just needed to come in and replace it. I guess.
No, but she can't get some pliers to like turn was the water coming out of the knobs that you turn on and off?
I mean, when you turned it on, it would come out of the knobs, but then when you turned it off, it was just kind of leaking out. Yeah, and I was just like,
okay, so it's nothing.
But she did not send me the small leak. She sent it to make it seem like it was, and I was like, oh, okay, well, if it's that bad, I called her bluff.
Well, what time did she call you?
And then I showed her the video she sent me. And I was like, but you didn't send me the picture of the faucet doing that. You sent me the video of the faucet doing this. Oh, I don't. And then she goes, oh, how did that video get in there? Oh,
why do you even bother talking to these people? Why do you bother? Why don't you just put this in the hands of some type of management?
I need all my money, Don.
I understand, but is it worth
my money?
Is the extra 20% that you're saving worth dealing with all of this garbage that you're dealing with? And I'm telling you, the late rent, the constant complaining. I mean, what they call you, like at 8 o'clock at night, expecting you to send somebody over there at 3 in the morning to fix it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, but yeah, it is because I'm able to come and assess the problems myself. You put somebody else in charge of that, they'll find somebody, pay top dollar, you'll end up paying more. So I'm able to be a part of every problem and every solution. And you save money that way as well.
All right, but then you're like, then you're with the stupid pictures.
I thought that was so. Sometimes I'm entertained by it. I'm entertained by the lie.
Okay, I get you.
I'm entertained by the
lie. As
lie.
long as you're getting something out of it. I mean, I don't want to drive this. I don't want to drive to San Dimas for a leak.
I needed to come see the house. I actually hadn't been out there, so my mom's born in Texas, but mostly raised most of her life in San Dimas. So we were out there.
I didn't know that.
We were out there every summer. This is my grandmother's house.
Oh.
That we still own.
Oh, okay.
Out there, and I hadn't been out there in years, and how that neighborhood has changed. I mean, I hadn't been out there in 10 years.
Is it more Latino or more Asian and white?
Yeah, we were in the Starbucks there, and it was pretty white.
Yeah, San Dimas
still pretty white.
San Dimas is pretty. I mean, but a lot of Latinos have moved out that way. A lot of Asians have moved out that way also.
You're in Southern California, it's Latinos everywhere.
Well, LA City, but if you start getting like West Covina, Pomona, and it starts getting Asian a little bit.
And Latin, because
a lot of Latino, Pomona and stuff like that.
My ex-boyfriend's family lived out that way as well. Well, my ex-boyfriend from college,
It's nice out there. It's very nice out there. It's just far.
So far.
It's very far. San Dimas is a very nice town. We got Raging Waters out there,
St. Mary's College.
Yeah, it's all nice.
Poly Pomona's out there.
But like, if you live there,
my parents went to college, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They met there. They met at Cal Poly Pomona.
If you live there, you cannot work in Los Angeles.
It's so far, unless you take the train. There's a train that shoots right down that. Yep.
I wonder how long does it take to get to downtown then?
Probably not long because it shoots down the freeway.
Because when I moved back from LA, I lived in West Covina off the 60 freeway, and I was working at CBS, what is now Odyssey, but CBS Radio in Mid-Wilshire, and literally 2 hours to get to work every day. If I left between 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I mean that's.
If I left at 10, no problem.
Bad commute. My friend lives in San Dimas, but her house overlooks like the golf course area, and she works at County USC. So she takes that train.
Oh, just straight downtown.
Yeah, so she takes that train,
that's good.
which is very helpful because she's by that train station. But let me ask you something about your parents.
Yeah.
I went to Cal Poly Pomona too.
No way.
I transferred because it was very little diversity.
Yes.
There was me and another black guy that we were in radio and TV broadcasting.
What do you mean black guy?
Cal State LA because it was close to both where we lived. At the time he was living in Pomona, and that's why he went to Cal Poly because it was right there. And I was living in West Covina. But I said I don't want to make a large commute. I don't want to live on campus. So we both transferred to Cal State LA simply because there was very little diversity.
Yeah. I think both of my parents definitely went to Cal Poly on the EOP program, which I don't
EOP.
think
you know what? I think I used to remember what that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And so, and my dad, I think, was there on a track scholarship.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
My dad ran track.
Did he?
You know, he's got the physique for a
my
track.
dad was an All-American.
Oh wow. Yeah, he did. Was he? But he's not. Did he play? Did he play baseball?
No, my uncle played pro baseball.
Oh.
My uncle and one of my cousins, they both played baseball. My dad was a track runner. Yeah.
Did he do anything? He didn't play football or anything like that? Because your dad's not that tall.
Nobody did play football, and actually that's how he got his knee busted. He played football in high school. One of his friends busted up his knee, but he still came back to, win all city, all in track, and they put him on a scholarship over at Cal Poly Pomona.
Oh, wow.
Ran on the scholarship all 4 years, yeah.
Always jealous of your dad's physique as he's gotten older. I mean, he still stays in shape. I mean, I haven't seen him in a while, but he's stayed in very good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a minute since.
Isn't it? Yeah, he taught me a lot about fitness.
Yeah.
Growing up, he worked out a lot.
Yeah, that was always the thing, right? He was like, "Gotta make it to the gym. Gotta make it to the gym."
Yeah, he was always going to that gym.
Yeah, and you want to shame me for not knowing how to work the areas in COVID.
I am. Well, still shame you. You should work out more, Don. Not just the hand going to the mouth like this.
I work out.
Do you work just your forearm right here?
I work my forearms and my legs. Okay.
And not just doing that other thing with your wife.
Well, I do that too. You don't understand how much weight I've lost doing that other thing.
How much weight have you
lost? A lot.
How much?
I lost 3-4 pounds.
Just doing that one activity.
You don't understand.
Good job, Miss Amiche.
Thank you. You don't understand the level of cardio that we put in.
Oh my God.
All right, Kyrie Irving apologizing, which when I saw it last night, I was just like, oh God. I'm like, what's
Got him.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I really want to get to Gabby Petito's family suing the Moab Police Department, so we're going to get to all of that. We'll take your phone calls, 800-920-1580. If you listen to Jenna California and learn something, I want to hear about that also. And just more of this conversation. We invite you in. We're streaming live right now on YouTube, so pass the word out. You can go to the KBLA app and get the stream, or go to YouTube, get the stream, and we're going to be opening it up to Facebook and Instagram pretty soon. All right, so more of this conversation when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
Here's the KBLA Talk 1580, where truth prevails.
The tricky station is down the dial. Roll out.
The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now, during their fall sales event, 0 down delivers any new or pre-owned car at Gardena Nissan. They're located conveniently on Redondo Beach Boulevard at Western, and they specialize in helping folks out. Bankruptcies or repos. The folks at Gardena Nissan will take fantastic care of you and help you get into the car you need and deserve at a spectacular price. Visit them today or shop online at GardenaNissan.com. The all-new Gardena Nissan is proud to be a partner of KBLA, and right now, during their fall sales event, 0 down delivers any new or pre-owned car at Gardena Nissan. For the best deals, log on to GardenaNissan.com. 0 down on approved credit. GardenaNissan.com.
Roll out.
Hey, Los Angeles, this is Urban Magic Johnson. Today, our city faces a crisis of violence, homelessness, and soaring rents. And nobody is better equipped to tackle that crisis than my friend Karen Bass. Karen worked in the emergency room, taking care of crime victims, making decisions that were a matter of life and death. She served as assembly speaker during the financial meltdown, doing the difficult work needed to rescue our state budget and protect the programs people rely on. As our next mayor, Karen would do what she's always done. When there's no room for error, she'll lead with her smarts and lead with her heart. On November 8th, please join me in supporting Karen Bass.
By Karen Bass for Mayor 2022, General. More information at ethics.lacity.org.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Steve is intrigued by the paranormal.
Otherworldly spirits really make a house a home, you know?
Janice has different taste.
I'd like my house to not be haunted.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Steve and Janice found a renovated Victorian that's only haunted from 9 to 5.
Okay, wife's home. I gotta bounce.
Bye, Steve.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
I've got open mic. We were talking about how I'm not going to vote yesterday, or I was thinking about not voting yesterday, and we got a young man that wanted to come in on that.
The open mic. You have a right to vote or not vote.
Yes.
Because it's your God-given right.
Absolutely.
But
yes.
If you do not vote,
yes,
you do not have the right also to open your mouth and voice your opinion on those who did
You're
or did not,
absolutely right.
and the people of which you did and did not vote upon.
You're right.
Also,
you're right.
It is more than voting.
Yeah.
It is voting and holding the candidates that you did or did not vote for, holding their feet to the fire.
Yes, you're right.
Every single time.
Right.
Whether or not they listen to you or not, hold their feet to the fire.
Right, you're right.
And be adamant about what affects you.
You're right. All right. You're right. You're absolutely right. If I don't vote, I don't get no say-so in the policies that affect me. But I don't get any say-sos in the policies that affect me if I do vote. Mm-hmm. So, hey, what do you say about that, my friend? What do you say about that?
I say that, listen.
I don't think voting changes anything. I think if voting at one point has changed things when there are movements in this country. Like, let's say there was an election year during the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And then we had a concerted effort to kind of get new politicians that were along with the movement into office. Then that can happen. But these regular elections and midterm elections, I don't know.
It starts with the smaller elections. It starts with putting the
I
people in place.
I hear all of that.
Who can move things. That's what I keep telling you. Listen, how can you even say elections don't change?
I'm only voting for Maxine Waters.
You're a black
that's
man
it.
in America.
I'm showing up for Maxine
You're
Waters.
You're a black
and that's
man in America. They had to vote for your right to vote.
They still got to vote for your right to vote.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you don't want a whole bunch of Republicans. Let me tell you. One wrong Republican house, that might go away.
I don't know. One wrong Democrat, it might go wrong way too. I'm just saying.
It might all go away.
Yeah.
It's one thing to vote, but I also think that after voting, we need to be more active. We need to go to these city hall meetings and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To voice our opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think we've seen the power of us protesting at City Hall with Nuri Martinez. You know what I'm saying? And the pressure to force her to resign. I think that is, but that just goes to show that only mob rule is only ever going to get things done at the end of the day, which is sad.
Because I think we vote and then we walk away and then that's it. We need to go to these these city hall meetings or whatever other meetings that they have.
But Andy, I voted so you could do the job. Now I got to vote and make sure you vote the way I want you to do. Listen, I'm only showing up for Maxine Waters and Karen Bass. That's it.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Right? And showing up to Maxine Waters campaign, and only because they're black women. That's it. Because I support black women. That's it.
And for the gambling stuff, you gonna vote for the gambling stuff?
Not even. I could care less about tribal or Pandual or anything like that. I mean, I just wait for me to get around that.
You know what I thought was interesting? A couple in one of the other elections, the one to get people who had served their time their right to vote back.
Yeah, that was that Florida?
No, it was here.
Was it here?
Yeah, it was here. I voted on it. Because I felt like if I've served my time, if I did 5 years, 10 years, I've served my time, I should be able to come back and be a regular citizen.
I think you should be able to vote while you're in jail.
My right to vote should still count.
I think your right to vote should never be taken away.
So that was something that changed during voting.
I think that should be a constitutional right. Let me see here.
Yeah. That was something that a vote changed. They got it on the ballot, and people were like, yeah, you guys, if you've done what you need to, you paid your debt to society, you guys come on out. We need your votes, too, because, you know, what they are doing is they'll throw black people in jail for anything, give them a felony, out of the voting population, more black people of color not being able to vote. You know, it's just these small microaggressions. Well, those aren't micro, but these small aggressions towards people of color that keep us from voting.
Let's see here. You can register to vote if you are a United States citizen and a resident of California, 18 years or old on Election Day, not currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony, and not currently found mentally incompetent to vote by a court. So that's basically persons with criminal history who can register to vote in a local detention facility. Oh, in a local detention. Serving a misdemeanor sentence, a misdemeanor never affects your ability to vote. Okay, so that's nice to know. Because jail time is a condition of probation, misdemeanor or felony. Serving a felony jail sentence awaiting trial on persons with a criminal history who can register to vote. So you can register if you are on probation for a misdemeanor, awaiting trial, on parole, on probation, on mandatory supervision, on post-release community supervision, on federal supervised release, and a person with a juvenile wardship adjudication. Persons with a criminal history who cannot register to vote, currently serving a state or federal prison term for the conviction of a felony in state, federal, a local detention facility. Once you finish serving your term, your right to vote is restored. However, you must register online at registertovote.ca.gov or by filling out the paper voter registration card. So good. Let's see, California Penal Code Section 2910 allows the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, the CDCR, to make agreements with local governments to house felons in local detention facilities. The person serving a state prison sentence who is housed in a local detention facility under these circumstances is not allowed to register and vote. Additionally, a person in the local detention facility who is awaiting transfer to a state or federal prison following a felony conviction is not allowed to register. See, I think they should change it also. You know what I'm saying? Because we tend to throw away the key on people in jail. Although some people in jail, let me tell you something. I have been watching on YouTube recently these parole hearings, especially out of Louisiana. You should watch these things. Some of these people, I used to think, people in jail, you turn their life around. Some of these degenerates need to be in jail. One guy was up for parole. He had multiple kids. And he slept with his girlfriend's, he had kids by his girlfriend, and slept with his girlfriend's daughter, which was his stepdaughter. And she testified on him not to get out of jail. One guy was serving was serving a 55-year sentence, had served 20 years of that sentence. And then, they look, it's a 3-judge panel, and they're just, they're hardcore. They're not, you got to show like you really want to get out of jail. This guy had served 20 years of a 55-year sentence he pistol whipped a woman in a jewelry store, shot and killed the owner in the jewelry store. And then he blamed drugs, and he was like, yeah, I was hallucinating on drugs. And he was like, they asked him, what kind of drugs are you doing? Ecstasy and marijuana. And then the black judge who was on the parole board, who was a former judge, was like, yeah, neither one of those drugs make you hallucinate. What are you talking about? But then again, right.
I was hallucinating.
But hold on, I'll continue this when we come forward, because it's absolutely amazing watching these things. We'll get to this when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Oprah is deciding to back U.S. Pennsylvania Senate candidate John Fetterman over Mehmet Oz. Winfrey made the announcement at a virtual town hall, saying if she lived in the Keystone State, she would have already cast her ballot for Fetterman. President Biden and former President Obama will campaign for Fetterman tomorrow in Philly. The event will take place at Temple University. Tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot is now the biggest ever in the game's history. It's worth $1.6 billion. The cash value of that is just over $780 million. There hasn't been a winner since early August when the jackpot was won in Pennsylvania. In HBCU football, Jackson State remains number 1 while Howard University enters the top 10. The undefeated Tigers will battle Texas Southern at the 22,000-seat PNC Stadium, which is already sold out. And that's the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Heading into downtown, a bit rough on the southbound 101 at 4th Street. There's an injury accident clearing out of the 2 left lanes. A lot of work zones to look out for today. In Sylmar, westbound 210, the transition to the southbound 5 blocked off until 3 o'clock this afternoon. In Diamond Bar, northbound 57 between Sunset Crossing and Temple Avenue, the right lane also coned off, as well as the Temple Avenue off-ramp. Westbound 60, the Wilcox Avenue off-ramp also blocked off until 3 o'clock this afternoon. In the west side on the southbound 405 at Wilshire, we have a work zone there that's also got that off-ramp closed off until 3 o'clock.
Want to save big on new blinds? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order. Just use the code radio. Offer in tune. Shop today. Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers and Clippers are back in action tonight. The Lakers are at home against Utah. The Lakers are aiming for their 3rd straight win after an 0-5 start. The Clippers are in San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard will not be in the lineup. Both of LA's NFL teams are on the road Sunday. The Rams are at Tampa Bay. The Chargers, coming off their bye week, are in Atlanta. Undefeated Jackson State, ranked 5th in the country in Division I AA, is in Houston Saturday to play Texas Southern. You can catch the game live on ESPN+. Kickoff at me and Neil Scarborough, the editor extraordinaire, tomorrow night at 7 on KBLA for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. This sports report was brought to you by MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to your settlement, we're a slam dunk. Call 833-MVP-WINS or check their website at themvp.com for a free case review.
If you're the victim of a car accident, call the pros at MVP Accident Attorneys. When it comes to getting the maximum compensation you deserve, our team hits it out of the park. Call 833-MVP-WINS for a free case review.
Call me your MVP. Is the pen mightier than the sword?
They say the pen is mightier than the sword. At KBLA Talk 1580, we not only have a lot to talk about, we have a lot to write about. Politics, relationships, business, empowerment, and culture. The all-star roster at KBLA Talk 1580 has you covered.
That's what it's all about.
Be sure to follow us on all our socials for our latest book releases, op-eds, essays, and commentaries from our hosts. And, of course, download the KBLA 1580 app as we strive to remain your most trusted, credible, and reliable source for the issues you care about. This is unapologetically progressive. 1880.
What up, baby?
Inglewood healthcare workers, patients, and community leaders are urging you to vote no on Measure HC, the unequal pay measure.
HC raises pay for only certain healthcare workers, but workers at 73% of Inglewood's healthcare facilities get nothing.
In fact, Measure HC excludes workers at community clinics, urgent care centers, Planned Parenthood, and other providers that serve low-income and uninsured patients. HC will create staffing shortages and jeopardize access to quality health care for the most disadvantaged.
And Measure HC will increase healthcare costs by millions of dollars every year at a time when Inglewood working families can't afford higher prices.
Measure HC. Unequal,
unfair,
costly.
Please vote no on HC.
Ad paid for by No on Measure HC. Inglewood Healthcare Workers and Providers Against the Unequal Pay Initiative, sponsored by the California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems. Committee major funding from California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems.
Our Weekly Los Angeles is the largest audited black newspaper in the state of California, with a distribution of over 50,000 copies weekly. Pick up a copy every Thursday to get the latest news on African American communities of LA. You can also keep up with what's going on in Los Angeles and surrounding cities by going to www.ourweekly.com. Updated daily with the current news about us and for us. For your advertising needs, Our Weekly offers economical advertising packages to fit your budget. Feel free to call Our Weekly Los Angeles at 323-905-1300 or visit the website at www.ourweekly.com. Our Weekly Los Angeles, reporting news that matters to you.
Did you know fixing outdoor leaks can save 27 to 90 gallons of water per day? Even tiny leaks can be huge water wasters. Conserving water starts with a few simple water-saving actions at home and in your yard, like adjusting your sprinklers and adding drip irrigation so you water only where it's needed. We can all do our part to conserve water. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more water-saving tips. Save water, save California.
Looking for legitimate political discourse without the bear spray? Tune in and speak out. KBLA Talk 1580.
I come here and I get all my problems out with you guys. Listen, if you guys are here for the off-air conversation, you'd be so entertained.
You would be entertained. There's a lot going on.
So entertained.
For the break, we were talking about people in jail getting their voting rights back.
Yeah.
And some people who are in jail, I've been watching these Louisiana parole board hearings. Now imagine going up for parole after being sentenced to 55 years for a robbery and murder that you did. Which, I'm like, wow, they're letting you out of jail for this? Right? And then there's three people on the parole board, and one of them is the judge that sentenced you to jail. But listen to this guy here, and I'm like, wow, some people are just degenerates, and they just need to be in jail, which is sad. So this is the parole board hearing, and the woman that's speaking sentenced the
Honestly,
guy.
I'm familiar with the case because you appeared before me, and I was the one who determined the sentence to the case. And at that time, I was
And just for context, two white men. This is a black woman that's speaking, who's on the parole board, who was a judge in Louisiana, and the guy who is in jail who was in jail at the time when he was 30. He's now 50. Is black also.
Aware of just what happened in the case, but I'd like for you, just for the other members of the panel, to briefly describe what you did as you being incarcerated. About what?
July 6, 2002, I went in jury store asking for a repair jury I had, and they couldn't fix it at the moment, and I left out and came back with a firearm and asked the owner, the employee for the cash, and I hit her across the head with a gun, and next thing I know, the owner came up, and I shot him, and I just started hallucinating because I was on influence of drugs and broke a few jail cases and robbed and left, and went to my mother's house, and that's when a lot of police that came, and I had a warrant for my arrest for what I had done.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. He went into that jewelry store probably under the pretense of getting some jewelry fixed, or either casing it. But let's say he just went in there trying to get fixed. He saw it was a woman there, and he was like, "Oh, this a lick." Went and got the gun, thought it was gonna easy stick up, and he hit this woman in the head, which is a metal plate now because her son testifies later on. You know what I'm saying? And then shot the owner who was also there.
Did he die?
I'm not really sure if he died or not. He got 55 years, so I don't know if he died because I don't know if they would let him out for 55 years. Although Louisiana's funny, they got weird kind of laws. don't go to jail in Louisiana because
don't go to jail, guys.
Well,
Don't go to jail.
if you no, don't go to jail in Louisiana. They have something in Louisiana called work release, where they won't put you in jail, but they'll put you in a work release program, right? So if you're a nonviolent offender and you have a certain amount of time, you won't go to jail. They'll put you in a work release program. But the problem with the work release program is where they get you a job, but 60% of the money you make from that work release program goes to pay for your room and board. So you're almost like a slave to a certain extent while you're working. You're still making money. You're not in jail. You can be making You can be making nothing. You know, I think that's the way they look at it. But it's slave labor in Louisiana. So this guy, and I can see why people wouldn't want people like him to vote. Why
so
would
the state doesn't pay for, so the state's taxes don't pay for the inmates.
Right. That's the whole key is how do we offset the costs of our Department of Corrections, Department of Justice system in the state.
Okay.
So let's create programs, but it's almost like modern day slavery to a certain extent. But they look at it as, well, if I take 60% of what you make out to pay for your room and board, you could be making nothing because you'd be in jail. Yeah. And at least you're out. But it still feels like slavery to a certain extent. It just feels that way.
I mean, that's the plan.
But this guy, you heard his crime, you heard what he did. He got sentenced to 55 years in jail. In the 20 years that he's been in jail, 41 or 40 write-ups while he was in jail. Caught with a cell phone, you know what I'm saying? So there's obviously, and I can understand him away because you're 50 years old, and over the course of from 30 to 50 in jail, you still can't get with the program?
Well, I mean, that's only 2 write-ups a year, though. Think about it. One write-up every 6 months? Those are not bad odds. 40 write-ups? I mean, and one is for a cell phone? Listen, those are good odds in jail. Things go down in jail.
Shante,
and only have 2 a year?
Shante,
that's not bad.
You are in prison. You are not supposed to have a phone. You're in prison. And then
who don't have a phone in prison?
Of course.
I feel like everybody has a phone in prison.
Yes. Corrections officers.
So why is he getting written up?
20 years.
Because it's still illegal.
Yeah, but what about these COs? And I'm learning.
Well, you gotta catch the COs first.
I ain't gonna catch him.
No.
You gotta catch the COs first. I mean, it's all wrong.
So let me get this straight. He gets penalized for becoming friends well enough with somebody for them to smuggle him in a cell phone. And
well,
that seems
you know
like
what?
He is doing well. He's got friends on the inside.
Hilarious.
He's about community.
Hilarious.
I feel like this guy has. You know, he's all right. Twice a year? That's not bad. I mean, everybody mess up twice a year.
All right, Don Amiche.
On the outside.
All right. Let me see what it is.
So you acknowledge that you have done things that you were accused of doing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Help us understand what was going on in your world that caused you to commit this crime. Included drugs, but what else is going on? Tell us what kind of drugs you were using, how long you've been using. So give us just a little bit of background information.
And these judges are smart because he just said I was on drugs, hallucinating, all this other stuff. And she just said she's smart. And he's stupid. I'm gonna put it out. He's 55-year-old stupid idiot. And it's sad. It's sad I'm looking at that, but he's just an ignorant individual at the end of the day. But she's setting him up. Because he's like, hey, tell him you were on drugs, you were addiction. A lot of people understand that. But then the drugs that he said he was doing, it's like, well, how do you hallucinate on marijuana and ecstasy? You don't hallucinate on marijuana or ecstasy.
About your life?
No, you don't. Trust me.
Years ago.
Ecstasy. Okay.
No.
It depends on what the excess cut with.
Ecstasy, you're right. But ecstasy is usually cut with crank, speed, heroin. None of these drugs usually make you hallucinate.
I don't know. When I did some magical things. You did X? Yes, I went to college.
X is amazing.
I went to UC Santa Barbara, y'all.
Ecstasy is
the most druggiest doing is college. I mean, you know, I was in the theater department.
Ecstasy is one of the greatest drugs I've ever taken in my whole life. Oh my God, never been more happier in my life.
No, me and drugs don't get along, man.
Yeah.
I can't be out of control of myself like that. I think that's like the worst.
It was pure ecstasy, not the stuff they cut it with.
I was doing good for myself. I just fell off the track, like hooking up with the wrong fellows, and ended up getting on drugs, and lost my barbershop job, and working for the Month Graphics, and led me to drugs, and it led me up to this crime.
If you were doing well, why would you choose to start hanging around with the wrong fellows and using drugs?
That's the question I've been asking myself, man, how I fell off the track, and it's just something that just happened. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but just got off the track, man.
How old were you when you fell off track and started using drugs?
At the age of 29.
And what kind of drugs did you become involved with?
I'm involved with ecstasy, marijuana.
What else?
Alcohol. That's basically it.
Well, neither of those substances are known to cause hallucination.
Nice. Yes, more yes.
And you had already had 2 prior felony convictions. So,
I would like to think that family upbringing is an issue that creates criminals, but I don't know. I think that some people are just born with DNA. It's in their DNA to not conform to society. I think poverty plays a big role in a lot of criminal activity. But even if you weren't born into poverty and you come from a middle class, it's not the only excuse.
It's not. And the other day we had Sean who called in and basically was saying that it was a fact that poverty is one of the big leaders. Well, I have something.
I think it is, but it's not the overall. It's not. Yeah.
I found an article that did the research, and in 2022 they said yes, it's a factor, but there's so many other factors besides crime. That's not the number one issue nowadays. Things have changed. So, and they gave some examples of people living in poverty in New York versus some of these middle class people who have money that are still committing the same exact crimes and not for need. So I think it doesn't always have to be because you come from a poor family. Sometimes you're just born mentally off.
Yeah.
I hear a man who needs a 4th chance. He is a barber. He probably has cut a lot of hair.
20 years ago. 20 years ago.
He kept that going in the prison system, I bet. That's how he got that cell phone.
No.
Somebody was probably like, yo, line me up. I don't have money, but I think I could get you a cell phone. That's how that went down.
Do you know how much a cell phone has to cost in prison?
And he had to cut a lot of hair.
Cell phone's got to be a couple of $1,000s in the cell.
He had to cut a lot of hair for many years. Also, I would like to say, those 40 ticks, what if those happened in his first 5 years, first 10 years, and he has been blemish-free for the next 10? I'm just saying.
Okay. I mean, you're right.
We don't know. He had to figure out the system. He probably came in, guns a-blazing, and then, by year 10, he was like, yo,
listen,
man,
I think they would have. I think that both of these judges, and they denied this guy parole because it's like, number one, when you listen to the and let me see if I can get to the when we come forward, I'll get to the woman's son who he hit in the head with at the jewelry shop and let him speak. And I'm glad that they it's very interesting to see these parole boards. I never really noticed this. It's so amazing to see this because I'm like, oh wow, this sheds a light on who is actually in jail for parole. Some people you want them to get out. Some of them you're like, oh, I see why you're in jail because you're just there's a level of arrested development or just a level of deviance inside of them. Mm-hmm. So when we come forward, I'll play the son of the lady that he first saw. He speaks out about his mother and why this guy should be denied parole when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
You have the right to remain silent, but don't let them hear you on KBLA Talk 1580.
Janet Jackson set to launch a worldwide tour. Maisha Cairo here. It's time. A source reveals that Janet Jackson's latest tour will focus on the reissue of her '97 album, The Velvet Rope, as well as some brand new material. Janet has been working on staging shows after she canceled her Black Diamond shows back in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The sister of the late Michael Jackson has produced 11 albums and sold 100 million records during her 30-year career. Fun fact, in a recent interview, Jackson revealed that the album, Velvet Rope, which includes hits like Together Again and I Get Lonely, was the hardest one for her to record. Funny thing is, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 with 3 singles also topping the charts. Will you see Janet in concert? Let us know on socials at KBLA 1580.
Hey, California, abortion rights are literally on your ballot this year. Voting yes on Prop 1 protects your personal health care decisions by putting the fundamental right to abortion and the fundamental right to choose or refuse contraception into the state constitution. So no judge, no politician, and no ban can restrict your decision-making about basic health care services. If you agree that everyone deserves the respect and dignity to make the decisions that are right for them and their families, vote yes on Prop 1 and mail back your ballot by November 8th. No stamp needed. For Wellness Action Project and the California Legislative Black Caucus will demand reproductive freedom and protect abortion rights for generations to come. Vote yes on Prop 1. Ad paid for by Yes on Proposition 1, supported by healthcare organizations, Planned Parenthood affiliates of California, and Senator Tony Atkins Ballot Measure Committee. Committee major funding from Federated Indians of Great Rancheria.
Extra, extra, read all about it, read all about it, read all about it.
In recent editions of the Los Angeles Standard newspaper, read about HBCU's impact in Los Angeles. The Screening Room LA meeting at the Gathering Spot in West Adams, giving black filmmakers a place to showcase their work. The codename Crenshaw Boulevard, Malcolm X Boulevard. Hotville Chicken brings Nashville hot chicken to the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. The Engineer Factory, preparing black children for STEM majors and professions. Jan Terry addressing the homelessness and housing crisis as she runs for Congress. Shauna Charles, career in public relations. Local black hiking groups, and Los Angeles Philharmonic Inglewood headquarters hosting free music classes for local children. Read about these stories at LAStandardNewspaper.com and follow this black-owned publication on Facebook and Instagram.
Headlines. Have you heard it? Have you heard it? Have you heard it? Have you heard it? Have you heard it?
Power to the people. So what you and I have got to do is get involved. In order to do a voters registration drive, it's going to be the ballot or the bullet. After we get our people registered, we can then organize that voting strength and channel it in the direction that will get immediate results for the benefit of our people.
Malcolm X recognized the importance of the vote as a fundamental tool of black political power and civic engagement. Become part of the national movement to defend and help make our democracy a more perfect union. Let's use all the tools at our disposal. Register to vote and then cast your ballot on or by November 8th.
Paid for by the African American Voter Registration Education and Participation Project. Less BS per broadcast.
Fewer microaggressions per megawatt.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, so I've been watching these Louisiana parole board hearings. There's a guy who's in jail, and he's trying to get out. He served 20 years of a 55-year sentence. He's 50, went in at 30. So he's got another 35 years to go, so he's going to be 80? Oh, God, 80 years.
That long.
You know what? There are some people that just need to be out of population. They need to be out of general population. So he went to a jewelry store looking to get some jewelry fixed. They said they couldn't fix it. I think he went in there trying to case it. Either he went in there legit, went in there to try to get some jewelry fixed, and it was like, oh, this is a lick, or he just went in there to case it. You know what I'm saying? And so he blamed, hooking up with the bad people. He was 30. At 29, 30, you gotta, at some point, you gotta grow up.
Yeah.
That's another reason I worry about a lot of these young millennials that are being coddled by their parents. At some point, if the coddling keeps continuing, when are you going to accept responsibility for your own adultness?
Yeah, but there's some, not millennials. I'm not sure about millennials.
Well, they got to be millennials if they're young. I mean,
they're young.
I mean, look at this kid. This guy was 2930 when he went to jail and for 55 years.
And how old is he now?
He's 50 now.
Yeah, he was a Gen Xer. There's no excuse.
He's not a boomer?
No. He's a Gen Xer. At 50 years old, he's still a Gen Xer.
Is he?
Yes, he is. Baby boomers, I think, they should be
50. He's 55. This was, let me see what year this was. This was,
no.
55?
No. Gen Xers.
He might be on the tail end of the booming.
Let's see, boomers. Let's see, I'll tell you, because I did a bunch of studies. Definitely 50 years old, you are Gen X. You're not a baby boomer.
Let's see.
How old is he now?
He's 50.
46 to 64.
So he's...
Yeah. He's not.
He's 50 now. He went to jail when he was 30.
He's a Gen X. So there's coddled. Nobody that was Gen X was coddled. Millennials, sure.
Yeah, because he's got to be a late boomer. He's got to be on the end of the booming, because I was the beginning of the...
No, you weren't.
I was the end of... No, you're right. He is Gen X, because I was the end of the Gen X.
If you're a baby boomer, you're 57 to 75. That's
right.
And if you're Gen X, you're 41 to 56.
56, right. Yeah, I'm on the tail end of the Gen X millennial.
And you are a millennial.
No. Yeah, you are a millennial.
Are you 40? I will be 42 in December.
Yeah, you're a millennial.
You're a millennial. You ain't no.
It says 41.
No. You're no. You're not a Gen X. You're a
millennial.
No, I'm not a millennial.
You're at the beginning of the millennial.
I'm not even at the beginning. I'm 42 years old. I'm definitely not.
She does not want to align.
Definitely not.
You don't want to be a millennial?
I am not a millennial.
I love
it. Please. I had a pager.
Hey, don't disrespect this like that.
Andy's a millennial, that's for sure.
I had a pager and played Atari.
Stop
playing these games with me, y'all.
Yeah, you're right. They're like, millennials are like Atari. What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
So he is a Gen Xer. He is a Gen Xer because he went in, but and I don't know if that plays. But so listen to what the son of the victim has to say about the whole situation.
So much. Okay, now we'll hear from Mr. Kyle Jones.
Good morning, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Kyle Jones. I'm the son of Deanna Jones, who was almost murdered by Reginald Waller on July 6, 2002. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this morning and advocate on behalf of my mother, and I relish the opportunity to do this parole hearing process again and again for as long as it takes to keep this repeat violent criminal behind bars for the entirety of his sentence. Put yourself, please, in my shoes for a few minutes. I'm now 39 years old. I was 18 when this man, Reginald Waller, violently attacked my defenseless mother. Not myself, my own mom. I remember the day that I got news of the attack. I remember feeling helpless. I remember being angry. But what I remembered the most after all these years, the image that vividly is imprinted in my memory is the smirk on Reginald Waller's face at the trial when my mom took the stand and faced him. Amidst her pain and anxiety on the stand during her victim impact testimony, she told him that she forgave him. And I remember at 18 years old, his lack of remorse. A repeat violent offender, someone who was already out on parole and who was given numerous chances before, nearly took my own mother from us. This is unacceptable. Reginald Waller's progressive and escalating criminal history is unacceptable. This violent attack against my mother alone was premeditated and should have come with heavier charges to begin with. Reginald Waller entered into Hannon Jewelry that Saturday morning, with a calculated plan armed with a gun. He scoped out the store and asked my mother directly, who was behind the counter, who else was working in the store that morning. Then he went back outside and returned quickly to put his plan into action, thinking she was alone. This was premeditated and easily could have been attempted murder charges against my own mother. He hit my mother so violently with the butt of his handgun that it shattered the front of her skull. Imagine someone doing that right now.
And this is sad. Yeah, we gotta get close to stop there. Pay answer your phone call. We're gonna get to this and return to the story when we come forward. It's KBLA Talk. It's your name.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.